Hello, everyone. So today I want to talk about what it means to be gifted. And there's one huge misconception in that is that gifted goes away somehow after you leave high school. Not sure how it got there, but people really believe it. However, I just want to talk about gifted today because quite often our young people get misdiagnosed as ADHD and having some level of disability when quite often, sometimes that may be the case when you have a child that's 2E, which means twice exceptional, but quite often they're being misdiagnosed. There are a lot of characteristics about gifted children that um, make them seem as though they may be hyper or things like that when they're not. It's just a characteristic of who they are. They know how to learn and focus and do all these things even when they're active, right? And so I wanted to talk about gifted today because I spent some time in a room on Clubhouse. And in that room, it was all about gifted children. And it brought me back to when I was in school, when I was in going into, I believe it was third grade. Third grade, I got tested and diagnosed, because it is a diagnosis, as gifted, right? And one of the things that I think that parents think is, oh, when you have a child that gets this diagnosis, that all of a sudden it means that everything is easy for them, that they're just naturally brilliant, and all of a sudden they're all of the other aspects of the person are forgotten about because they're supposed to just be the most studious and the most the brightest and so on and so forth. And that it couldn't be farther from the truth. Yes, gifted children are brilliant in certain areas and can, do things beyond what your average age child would do, comparably. But there are so many other aspects, the excitabilities that exist. And I'll go into this over time because I don't want to take up the entire conversation about kind of diagnosing it, but we will get there. The reason being is oftentimes gifted children suffer from depression, suffer from suicide, suffer from dropout. They drop out of school early. And all of these things play a role because the way that the school system is set up doesn't cater to the unique capabilities and idiosyncrasies and asynchronicity of gifted children. Now, when you look at the spectrum of IQ, you have children that would be on the side of mentally disabled. And then on the other side, you have children that are gifted and all the way up to genius level, right? When you have these two extremes, we spend a lot of time, money, and energy on this side, helping the children with disabilities, not recognizing that gifted children also are special needs children, and they need resources dedicated to them and to understanding them and to enriching their lives. It's not an elitist thing to be gifted, even though that's what so many people think it is, that it's an elite thing. It's not. Gifted children have, I love the beautiful word that a young lady by the name of Carling used today. Her mom is one of a very prominent gifted researcher and specialist in Canada, across the globe, but they're based in Canada. And what she said was the chameleon effect. And I thought to myself, that's right. Because a lot of gifted children, when they're around their peers, they shift themselves and they try to model those around them so that they can fit in. And it's heartbreaking because it's almost like losing, like having a death to yourself every time you actively engage with others just so that you can fit in. And I know that there's aspects of all children that want to fit in, but the editing of oneself, literally, I hate to use the word, but dumbing oneself down just to be able to coexist shouldn't be the way it is. But it's a part of the psyche and the capacity of gifted children. And so I wanted to talk about this tonight because I think it's important. Not enough conversation is developed around giftedness. And I know that during the last year, there had to have been, I'm certain I probably could do a research assignment just on this, what the impact of the pandemic has been on the gifted and talented population. Because, you know, your average gifted child, let's say, I'll give you an example. If a child is, let's say, in, I don't know, first or second grade, your average gifted child may be advanced in multiple subjects, 2, 3, 4 grades ahead or even more. And who do they have over this past year to communicate with, to educate them at that level when libraries were closed and all of these things were happening? And they are strong, empathic young people and very, very high emotion on the 5 excitability scale. So what happened? How have they, experienced? I know I receive the Mensa newsletter, but I don't recall reading anything about, and maybe I missed it, but I don't think I recall ever reading anything about the unique situation that our young people have been in over the last year that fall into this small sector of society, about 2% of the population. How did they survive? How are they coping? What are they doing to make it through in an environment that was already kind of constricted and now got even constricted even more so and more limited? What happened? And so I just wanted to broach the subject today because I think it's important. It's important to my family, and I know there are tons of families out there that this is important to, and I just wanted to acknowledge it. Because I have not spoken about gifted at all in my today is 112 episodes. I have not, and I think it's extremely important that we don't further marginalize an already marginalized piece of the kid population, the youth population. And so I want to acknowledge and say, we're thinking of you. I'm going to do more research and bring it back so that we can have a dialogue. I would love the comments. If you are suffering and you have been as a gifted parent or child, type it in. Tell us. Because we want to be able to support families during this time. The foreseeable future is still going to be the same. How can we do better? How can we collaborate together to lighten the load? With that, I would like to say, I'll see you again tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. And I'm just looking forward to sharing more and more insights and bringing things to the fore so we can develop a dialogue around building up the lives of our youth across the globe. It's my passion. That's why I do this. And that's why I wake up every day excited and ready to go, because of you brilliant young people out there. And so with that, I say bye-bye, and I will catch you again tomorrow.